Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Dating Over 50. My name is D Love, and we are back for episode 2 with D Rob. Where we left off, we were discussing why can't we be on the same page and what do we need to do. And so we will continue our conversation with D Rob. Because if you're going to walk away anyway, at least walk away knowing that you have expressed your needs. And now that you've expressed them and then they're not met, at least now you can say, I'm walking away because I said I wanted A. She couldn't give me A, so therefore I'm gone, versus I want A, never told her I wanted A. She didn't know to give me A, so therefore I'm gone. But I think we need to really understand how important it is to talk about it.
Right. You're right. That's a great point. But it goes back to what you were just saying. Can you teach a dog new tricks? Or are we always a puppy? It just seems like, too, when you get in the 50s, you meet some ladies and they might just say, hey, I am who I am. And so I'm not changing. I'm just who I am, right? And so even though, in the beginning of the relationship, she was probably a little different, but she got comfortable, what have you. And same with the guy. And I am who I am. I'm not changing. Can't teach y'all new tricks. And so at that point, you might be halfway out the door anyway, because, if a person, has that attitude, you can't teach y'all new tricks, then there's really no sense communicating, because it just seems like where you communicate, that person's not going to change or respect you enough to say, hey, let me do this for you, or I do this for you, and come to a middle, because sometimes when you get in your 50s, people just don't feel like they're just who they are and it's not going to change. But the person who you might be with just may not like that change, like that who you are, and they might say to themselves, "Why take it deeper or further if that's just who you are?"
And I get that point, D Rob, and I think that is a lot of the thinking at this age. But I think we need to change that and not be so comfortable in who we are, because we need to look back and say, and why am I by myself? And I'm not talking about huge character, issues. I'm just talking about your basics.
Right. And I totally agree with you too, but it goes back to what I'm saying earlier. Do we want to take risks? And maybe the guy doesn't want to take that risk. Maybe he's scared, right? Maybe he just says, oh, maybe it's getting too serious too quick, and maybe I don't want to go to the next step just yet. And so maybe we do things to break up the relationship because maybe we just got scared. Cold feet or something right there, right? Or we communicated it and what we want, and maybe we just don't think we are getting what we want as well from you guys. And so it just seems like it's hopeless to keep on going. But yeah, you're right. We're still gonna be by ourselves at the end of the day. But my thing always is this too. I always say this to myself: am I better with somebody if I'm with that person, or would I be worse with that person? If I'm gonna be worse with that person, I might as well just be by myself and be worse. Even at this age, you still could find somebody and be worse with them. And I don't want to regret that, because at this point now, life is even going faster, and so we definitely have to me, make the right decisions better now than we did in 20s and 30s.
And I agree with that, D Rob, but I guess my perspective is a little more that we should be at the point where we realize no person and no relationship is going to be perfect, and that we're not going to get all of our needs met, and we need to determine what are the priorities, so that we can try and understand how this relationships over 50 really work.
You're right, D Love. It's complicated, right? And but it's complicated, but also I feel like it's simple, right? Is the person who I'm with? Is she showing me that love that she really wants me? Is she fighting for me? Am I fighting for her? Are we fighting for each other? And stuff like that. Because I want a woman that fights for me and shows me, she expressed to me that she really loves me and stuff like that. And maybe, sometimes we're not getting that. And maybe that's probably the reason why we don't take it to the next level. Because she says she does. But to me, the proof is in the pudding. If you don't see that person being actively really smitten in love with you. And maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe I'm just a romantic, and maybe people have changed on how they view love in their 50s and stuff. But I just feel like I want that person to be my ride or die, and her to want me, and also honesty too, and compassion and caring. Now, those are the signs that I see in a person. Hey, I would definitely take it to the next level, but I guess sometimes you just don't see that. It's one of those things is missing where we guys just don't take it to the next level.
And I can see that. And I know I recently talked about just committing to the commitment. Then you commit to that commitment. Doesn't mean it's going to be simple, doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but I'm going to commit to making this work. So we have to have another reason other than I love you to really be together. It's like, does this person compliment me? Love is a true commitment that you make to someone to be concerned and care about their needs as well as your own.
Right, D Love. Great point. But I hear what you're saying, but I kind of disagree with what you're saying too. I still say it falls back on love. I know. So I feel like that person loves you, right, and you love that person, right. Then you go through a wall, right. So you just said, do we still have commonality? Do we want to travel with each other? Do we want to do other things with each other? So if you have that love, that means you respect that person enough. Maybe you're not a traveler, but because you love that person, you're gonna want to travel with them. You're gonna want to do some of the things they want to do. And maybe you are an introvert, and maybe you become more of an extrovert because she has company more because you love that person, right? So love is powerful still, and I still think it's love that makes you want to do those things with the other person.
Oh, okay. So then what do you see as the hardest part of dating over 50?
Fast, rushing too fast. Just like we said at the beginning of this podcast, that the women want to just go too fast too soon because she knows that she's getting older and she wants to do it like yesterday, and we just don't want to do it that fast. But again, too, there are guys out there. Don't get me wrong, that leaves a woman on for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and that's horrible, right? You wasted a person's time, and I'm not asking a person to waste their time. Let's talk about it in terms of I'm saying maybe 1 to 2 years, you should know who you're with and do you want to be with her for the rest of your life. Now, if you can't make a termination in 1 to 2 years, then I do think the woman should leave the guy. Because at that point, you are straddling her on, unfortunately, right?
Okay.
And let me say one more point, D-Love. And when I say 1 or 2 years, I can say 1 or 2 years. I can say, hey, D-Love, I want to let's take 2 years. But hey, like I said, it goes back to love. And man, she's great. She's doing well. I might just say, let's do it in this year, right? Because I see those qualities in you that I don't need to wait that long anymore. But I might just use that as a benchmark when I come into the relationship, so I don't feel like I'm being rushed.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, D Rob. So what does that look like? Is that the conversation we have as we're beginning to get to know each other? You're like, okay, I just want you to know I'm looking for a relationship, but I want to take it slow because I want to be sure that I found the person I want to be with. I mean, do you throw that 1 to 2 years out there, or does it come up later in discussions when we start talking about the where are we, who are we? How does that look? Because if you put the time frame on anything, doesn't that just increase the anticipation or the concern that, oh, we've gone past a year now, where are we? So just how do we talk about that time frame?
Right, that's a good question. I do think you need to come into the relationship. I think my previous, I came in and said, yeah, I want a serious relationship, and I should have put a timeline on it of maybe 2 years. It doesn't mean I was going to wait 2 years, but just so you don't have that conflict with the other person, I think you need to put that timeline on it because if I don't put a timeline on it, you're asking me almost every 2 weeks when we're going to do it, when we're going to sit at a deal. At this point, I might lock up to you. I don't want to communicate with you because I already said I'm not ready yet. So these cause conflicts, right? So I put a timeline on it and see how it floats for a year to 2 years, as opposed coming in and have no timeline, and just being a contentious relationship. The woman wants it to be faster, and I don't want it to be as fast as she wanted.
Okay, D Rob, to that point, so I guess there's probably a little difference between, I guess this maybe that's one of your, the time frame comes in once you have, gone out, you see this person. And so is this kind of maybe when you say put the label on the relationship saying I want to be your man, whatever we do these days. I don't know what how you determine someone is the one. But is this something that we do this? This is when you say that, meaning once we kind of commit to that committed relationship, the one-on-one, no other people, then that's when you say, but I still want to take this slow. I see the things in you that I want, but I don't want us to rush into anything. Is that kind of maybe when it happens, when you committed to her as on a one-on-one relationship?
Of course. I mean, I can't, come to you the first day we meet and say, hey, we got to take it slow. No, 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 no. First, we got to have that commitment, right? Hey, it's just me, you, we're not dating anybody else. At that point, that's when we need to discuss it, because now we're into the next level in a serious relationship, and then there's the other level. So at that point, I need to express myself and on my wants, and I guess you're gonna express yourself on what your wants are and stuff, and that, and hopefully they come to the middle in that serious relationship, go to the maybe to the next level of marriage.
D Rob, that was a great conversation. We had a wonderful time talking about your views and mine on dating over 50. And as you can tell, that conversation continued. So please come back and listen to the next episode of my conversation with D Rob, where we go on and to discuss other things about dating over 50. I want to thank D Rob for being my first guest on the show. Hopefully, you guys found this to be interesting, that you found some little nuggets of information, and that we can hopefully use this again as a tool to start thinking about relationships over 50, how they work, how we navigate them, and how we become successful with them. Again, this is D Love wishing you peace and D Love.